A lot of us are searching for the ultimate adventure vehicle. Now, I don't know if there is a perfect or ultimate adventure vehicle, but I do believe if you keep searching and you keep trying, you're gonna find something awesome. And I'm trying something new. Traditionally, I'm a van life guy. I love the space, I love the all-in-one package. It used to be cheap, but life changes, circumstances change, and I need a new rig. I am building a new life here in the Pacific Northwest. My new rig is a Gen 1 Tacoma with a Wildernest. I found this thing in Portland a few months ago, and honestly, it was pretty beat up. The canvas had all those black, gross spots on it from mildew. It had a gross smell. The fiberglass had some repairs. It had some noticeable damage. Had a bunch of small little dings here and there. The screens were torn. The inside was really dusty and dirty. All of the hardware was either rusted or corroded. The back glass had been shattered. The gas struts weren't there. The list goes on. It needed some work. But this thing kind of just hooked me in, honestly. I had a little bit of FOMO. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to find another one or what the price would be or what the condition would be. So I paid the guy 1,600 bucks and I drove away. So why? Why pay that amount of money for an old beat up truck topper? Well, I've got a couple reasons. And clearly when we're doing this, we can justify anything, which is the beauty of it. Let's start with the actual cost, $1,600. I think that amount of money is reasonable for a legitimate truck camper. But I realize that you're probably splitting the two teams right now. Half of you are probably saying that that is a reasonable price when you compare it to a full-blown slide in. The other half of you are probably saying that is way too much money for a glorified rooftop tent, especially if it's beat up and needs a bunch of work. Now, I'm not going to disagree with either of you. I think the answer is probably somewhere closer to the middle, just like a lot of things. But when you do compare that price to the things that are on the market today, it is significantly cheaper. Right now, the closest thing on the market is probably a Go Fast camper. Now, I don't want to say anything bad about Go Fast because their campers look awesome. I've never used one, but I have watched multiple videos. I've seen the walkthroughs and the demos. They look really cool, but they are kind of pricey. The expensive one is going to cost about $7,000. They do make a cheaper one that is able to mount on pretty much any vehicle, and it only costs 1,300 bucks. And that's an awesome concept. But unfortunately, that is probably all it's going to be for a lot of people because they are so popular that they sell out. And I think this year they're already sold out for that super light camper. The second reason is the utility of the truck bed. I wanted to be able to keep my truck as much as a truck as possible. And to give Go Fast a legitimate plug, if you go to their website, they have a list of reasons on there that the Go Fast camper might be a good fit for you. And one of the reasons says, I wanted a camper that would allow me to keep my truck. And that is one of the biggest reasons that I went with the Wilderness. I wanted to keep my truck bed. I didn't want to forfeit the space and utility just because I wanted a camper. The third reason is that these are unique. This is a bit of a stretch, but I am drawn to vintage things, especially vintage campers. I love the old school look. I also think older things are built earlier and they last a bit longer. The Wilderness has that old school look to it. And so just the fact that it's older and it's more unique makes it appealing to me. The fourth reason is the truck itself. Now, in order to talk about the Tacoma, I have to at least mention my van. I still own my 1990 Vanagon Westfalia, and I love this thing. I really do. It has been an awesome adventure vehicle, but it's not perfect. It's got some flaws. It's severely underpowered and it's very unreliable. Now it's getting a lot better. It's getting much, much better because I've invested some time and money into it, lots of new parts and systems to build it up into the adventure rig that it is today. But I figured that it was time for a change. I wanted something that had a little bit of power. I wanted something that had more capabilities, had the 4-wheel drive. I wanted the epitome of reliability. And I didn't want to spend a ton of money. I wasn't going to spend upwards to $30,000, which I think is way too much. So all those reasons, the Gen 1 Tacoma fits the bill really well. So if you're going to go with an older, compact truck with a standard 6-foot bed, the Wildernest fits on there perfectly. And the last reason is the best reason of all. We can make lists to justify the things we do all day long. I am really good at it. But this is the pursuit of what I love. The joy that I receive is built in to the pursuit that the Wilderness embodies. If you know me, you know that driving down a dirt road to try to find a quiet campsite with a beautiful view is not just a luxury. It's actually a necessity. I think it's a necessity to experience some of the best parts of what it means to be a human on this planet. And I mean every word of that. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put a little bit of money into it. I'm gonna put a little bit of time into it. And I'm gonna refurbish this thing into something that I can call my own. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but I bet it's gonna be a good story.